Hello and welcome to the Emily Rassam Show. Today I am joined by David Dorfman. He is the co-founder of Rodents Stop, based out of the Southern California area. And he's going to tell us a little bit about how he became an entrepreneur and his entrepreneurial background before we get into the nitty-gritty of the business he and his father founded almost 20 years ago.
Yes, hi. Thanks for having me, Emily. First of all, yeah, it's great to be here. Me and my dad, we did a lot of things together over the years, but I come from a background of construction. My dad has a background of like chemistry, and we actually joined forces to do air quality control together about 20 years ago. And then we realized that we're dealing with attics and crawl spaces and like really with houses and seeing what is really getting people sick. We're doing physical air testing. So instead of with a machine, like we'd actually go and open things up and see where these things are causing. From mold to, like I say, rodent activity, asbestos, all sorts of stuff. And then, a lot of the calls that we're getting started to be related to rodent activity, a lot of the symptoms, a lot of the stuff. And then we just kind of started a sister company, which basically took over. That was Rodent Stop. Rodent Stop is a DBA for Dr. Air Care Health Solutions, Inc. That's the name of our corporation. And yeah, we're doing air quality for a long time. And then, yeah, we basically took my construction stuff, my dad's chemistry stuff, and made a plan for rodent control, which basically included sealing all entry points, anything the size of a quarter. And then, of course, cleaning up and getting rid of their scent. So getting rid of their scent, like urine odors, droppings, things like that, that will attract more rats to their home. And then last thing would be, getting rid of, infested material, insulation and things like that, that's really soaked with their urine. And then we'll set some traps, which basically will take care of anything left behind. And my dad is the one who invented the spray that kills their scent of direction. That's what my dad invented, which was a big factor for us because we give lifetime warranties on all our treatments. So somebody has a problem, like we'll handle it, and then they get a lifetime warranty. They have a problem in the future, call us back, we come out for free. Most of the time, it's really coming back because of contractors leaving stuff open, So a cable guy left a wire, ran a wire, left a big opening. Different contractors, and so yeah, we were able to put this amazing treatment together for rodents, which we give a lifetime warranty on, and yeah, it's amazing. It's really, really taking care of the rodent issue.
Nice. And so what did you do when you were in construction? I'm just curious. I know you said something about HVAC and air quality.
But the air quality, yeah. But before that, I came from construction. I used to build homes, room additions, all sorts of types of construction, remodel, renovations, all types. And so I really knew how homes were built. I knew a lot of the spots that I saw that, they're entering from. And, nowadays, like, that's all great, but we have like these special machines that are smoke machines that we could actually find the openings like that you cannot see. So we'll perform smoke tests, a lot of it on hillsides and just things that are very, very, very hard to find, like openings that if you don't close it, the rats are going to keep coming in.
And how do most of the homeowners that have these problems figure it out before they call you? Is there something that they see? Do they notice, like, I don't know, droppings from the mice? Do they come across them in their house? Is there like something where it happens a lot and you have people calling you?
Yes. So I would say 99% of my clients are dog owners. So a lot of times the dogs are barking on walls and then ceilings, and that's usually a really good sign. You usually say, hey, stop that, but it's really, there's a reason he's doing that, the dog. Secondly, there's a lot of there's like droppings that obviously you could see in the kitchen, noises in the walls and stuff that you could hear at night, not just your dog. Those are probably the most common, because rats, their behavior is identical. That's also why our treatment is identical for every house or business. It's the same way. because also their behavior is identical. So, for example, usually, it takes about 3 months. They could be 3 months in a house undetected. Usually, after 3 months, if you see droppings in the kitchen, that lets me know that they've already had babies. They've nested, had babies, and now they're down in the kitchen getting food for the baby. Okay, because they're desperate. That's why they'll come to like the living area. And so these are like very, very easy. So that like we could really know. You tell me like what you saw, like I could actually already know how long it's been going on, how long they've been there. Like it's so easy once you figure it out. And so yeah, they're just, rats are really the problem, not even mice. Mice don't cause any problems. Rats are just incredible. They have amazing scent, amazing memory. They're very intelligent, very similar to dogs, actually. A lot of people don't know, but they have like 15 similarities that people constantly overlook. And that's why most of my clients have dogs. And the other 1% is the very next door neighbor of a dog owner. And,
Right.
so, I would tell people, if you have a dog, you or your next door neighbor have a dog, make sure you seal up your house because 100% you're gonna have a problem. 100%. They're always looking. They're looking for stuff, and a lot of times like I said, they'll get attracted to the dog urine. Dog pees in the yard. They smell that. They come. They'll feed off the dog poop for a little bit, and then they're looking for the source, which is the dog food. And, they'll make their way to the pantry or the garage, and then by then it's already mid 2 months, and then they're very comfortable there.
They're
So
ready to move in.
no, they've already moved in.
Yes, yes, yes.
To move out.
And like you said, rodents are really smart animals, and that's why they use them in a lot of laboratory tests. And what gave you the idea to use the smoke to find all of the spots where the rodents can go in and out of houses?
So great question. A lot of the homes we deal with have tile roofs, and a lot of them are hillside. That's a really big percentage because the ones with tile roofs, tiles. A lot of times are there's a lot of openings. Doesn't mean you have a leak, but there's openings, and rats will get there and find their way into your attic. That's one. Two, hillside properties, usually their foundation, is down there. Nobody could even get down there. It's so slopey, and so checking and maintenance is very poor. So, these openings in the foundation, they can get in there. And then once they get in there, you got pipes and sewage, and there's so many openings that they can get through. And, another funny thing is that, if you take a 1,500 square foot home, 1,500, not too big, not too small, but for them, if you flatten out all your walls, think about how much space they actually have to move around because using the walls and stuff to get around. So a 1,500 square foot house, if you flatten all your walls, they now have about 10,000 square foot of space. Incredible. So yeah, that's what we do.
Nice. And so how did the air quality testing you do and then pivoting into having a business where you're detecting and preventing rodents from coming into the houses, how did that work together? Did you use your air quality testing to discover, or you kind of discovered it along the way that you were detecting rodent problems at the same time, and so you then to testing for and preventing rodent infestation in homes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That was a
Okay.
very long title. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know, uh, basically dealing with, so people will call us for like, they're not feeling good. They want, they want to test their air. They don't know if they have mold. They don't know why they're sick. They're constantly going to the doctor, et cetera, et cetera. So we would go over there and do like a physical inspection and like check different things and see why is this house sick? What's making the people in the house sick? And so a lot of the very similar symptoms were related to rodent droppings, especially in some of like concentrated areas. But that's what it was, and that's how we were basically able to find that these two are connected. Yeah, we actually had a situation with this one kid. I remember I went there. Only the kid was sick, and nobody understood what happened. They checked for lead and stuff. There was nothing. But one thing they didn't check for, which I was very surprised, was this kid's bed was right under the air vent, right? So when the heater comes on, when their AC comes on, it's on. He's breathing it. Now, in the attic, the vent was damaged There was rats in the attic. The rats got in there. They were peeing in there and pooping in there. Now, turn on the air. The kid's breathing it. And he's very sick. Going to the doctor, medication, and that's what he got. And all they really had to do was take that vent and put a new one. That's it. Because the vent going to the system doesn't it could go through all these droppings, but it's not affected through any attic stuff, fiberglass insulation. So that's all they had to do, and that's all they did. And it was easy. And they were good.
That's great news. Great story.
Thank you.
And what I wanted to ask you then about is I know that you focus on your main business in California, but you also ship one of your products nationwide doing drop shipping. How did you think to do that? And tell us about what the product is and how other people in other areas are able to use it.
Absolutely. So first of all, the reason we invented this product was because we are a family business and we are here in Southern California, and I don't see us going anywhere. Fortunately, we have a big family here, and we're going to stay here. But more than that, a lot of the calls that we're getting constantly is people wanting our treatment. You know, they like the sealing of the holes and getting rid of their scents. Like they've figured it out, especially after trapping for months and not actually solving the problem and dealing with poison and just all these things that, you know, you go to the store and you could just get it from the store. It's available. Whether it works or not is a different story. But basically, we're getting a lot of calls from people all over wanting our treatment. And we know that we're staying here, especially because we're so busy here. We cover 5 counties in Southern California, and it's a 100-mile radius from our home office in Van Nuys. It's huge. We visit like 50 homes a day. Like we're really busy. There's a lot of rodent issues here, a lot of businesses, a lot, just so much. So it's going to take a lot, you know, to start moving and doing all that. So the kit was invented as basically our treatment in a box. It's called the Home Defense Kits for rats and mice, and it's by Rodents Stop by us. And it's basically all the materials and stuff that we use on a daily basis. And it's been put in a kit with instructions, with a map of where common entry points are, a special rodent detection light where you can see, you know, different activity. It has different materials that don't require tools. They're actually made for seniors who have a hard time with tools and stuff. And it's just really easy to use. You could seal entry points. It has my dad's formula, which you basically toss into the attic or the crawl space to get rid of their scent. Just a very easy system and to get rid of your rodents. And yeah, it's amazing. It's going really good, and people are loving it. So
And
solving a problem.
and you didn't tell us the best part about it, that it is not a poison. It is. Tell
Of
us about
course.
that. Yeah, tell us about that part.
Yeah. Well, you know, because we don't because I mentioned that we don't use poison or anything like that. You know, this is exactly our treatment. So yeah, there's no poison. There's no chemicals. There's nothing in there. There's literally, you know, our treatment, which, you know, includes sealing entry points, getting rid of their scent, trapping anything left behind. Even the traps, they're pre-baited. You don't have to set them. They're pre-baited already. They're special glue traps. You put it on this special mat, which is basically a disposable bag. So after you catch them, you put in this bag, seal it, put it in the trash. No flies, no smell. Just like I said, a very easy treatment for residents who have a rodent issue, who don't want to deal with the problem. Now, the only thing is that because their behavior, I said, is identical, and because after 6 months, you have already major cleanup that needs to be done. And so this kit, I would say, is for people dealing with the problem maybe 3 to 5 months. If you're dealing with the problem longer than that, this is a great way to go, but you need to clean up. There's cleanup that needs to be done. Infested insulation, things that you have to remove. You have to do it. Both for health and safety, but also because that's what's going to attract the rats. So to be done.
Right. And so do they go in like fiberglass insulation also? Because I know me as a person, I don't like that stuff. It makes me really itchy. Do the rodents go in this? Do they make like nests in that?
Yes, they love it. I don't know how they're not instinct with that, or maybe they are. You know, I don't know. But so there's two type of insulation. There's the blown and the rolled. They actually like the rolled more for nesting versus the blown, which they can't really make a solid area because it's all broken up.
Right, right. Because they do make really compact nests, usually, like even in nature, and they're always really fluffy. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
I used to be a biologist and a microbiologist.
Oh,
And yeah, so I was not a chemist like your dad, though. I took it twice. I loved it so much. Just kidding. I did not like it. And so, since you have a family business, what are some tips you have learned along the way about working with family, and how do you keep things cool when you spend so much time with your family and together? Any tips for that?
I mean, listen, we're family business, but we've been doing this for so long, and now my dad is a little older already, and he's actually retired. I'm also technically not retired because we're micromanaging and dealing with a lot of different things, and a bigger scale. So there's always things to do.
Right.
But always, my dad has always been, great, and we never really had arguments. Thank God, because I know family stuff get really problematic. I mean, we've had here and there, but really, it's pretty simple. We have our business. It's working. It's working every day. I told you we visit about 50 homes a day.
Which is a
And so,
lot. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. And from new leads to follow-up inspections to new jobs, visiting homes, and our trucks are all over the place moving. I talk to my dad every day, and we go over stuff. Like I said, we kind of haven't really changed too much because like we have this one treatment that we've been doing. And so there's not much arguments. Like, we don't need to make changes. And that's really where the arguments, everybody has an opinion and everybody wants their way.
Right. Right. That's very true. And let's see. How does it feel that you are now, your dad's retired, you're carrying the torch? Are you going to be sharing it with the future generations of the family? Are you doing that?
Yeah, I mean, this is like I said, it's a family business, and hopefully my kids one day, will be able to run it or profit from it or whatever, But it's the same. We're gonna always follow the same path. Honesty first, ask questions later, literally, and that's like we've always been like very honest with our clients. Our inspections are always free. Like we just don't play games. We really want to make a difference. We really want to make a difference. We always wanted to make a difference, and we have. And we just did this amazing, amazing charity event in Irvine, for this family this older woman. She had a really bad infestation. Her son and his wife lived there, and I guess he's a double amputate, and they really needed help. And by accident, somebody was knocking on their door and saw their their condition and reported them to the city. And the city put this on the news, and then we reached out and we're like, we want to help, and we did this whole event. We teamed up with waste management. They donated containers, and we are literally there for a week straight with 30 men working every day and completely removing everything, all the infestation. We're talking everything from kitchen cabinets to every wall, everything. We literally had to remove everything. It was that bad. But we did it all. It was all pro bono, and the family is living there now safely in a good condition. We actually got an award from the city of Irvine. Got this beautiful plaque and a lot of appreciation. And we've just wanted to help this lady. We didn't know that there was going to be so much back, and yeah, we're very happy about that. And they named us like the referred contractor in Irvine, rodent control. So we're already doing a lot of schools and stuff there, through government agencies. But now, like, it's even bigger, and just in OC, which is great, Orange County, which is a very very busy area for us. So yeah, we just did that. That was amazing. Wanted to share that.
I like that. And so, one of the things I love about having a business is being able to give back to the community and help other people in ways that you couldn't when you are an employee sometimes, because you can't, take that extra time once in a while when you need to be at work. And what are some things that being in business has taught you? What is one of like the major lessons that you have learned being a business owner for so long that you would tell young people who are looking to start their own business, or they're not sure, they're on the fence, they don't know if they'll be good at it? What would your advice be?
Well, definitely my first definitely advice would always be never give up. Never give up on anything you want to do. That's number one. Number two, always be honest with yourself, with your customer, with your employee, with your wife, with your love. Just be honest. And I think that goes a long way because you just don't have any problems. You don't have any problems because no matter what, any lie, any dishonest always eventually shows itself. And so why do it? Why?
Right.
And even with that, my dad really always taught me well. And like I said, that I think is the best advice, not just for business, for life. Really, just being honest. End of
I
story.
agree. Do I hear your kids in the background? I have four kids, so mine
Okay,
get very loud. They're
nice.
just in bed right now because they're pretty young.
Well, how old is your oldest?
Sorry?
How old is your oldest?
My oldest is 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. My oldest is 7. I'm not
Yeah,
far from you.
and they're loud. I have 3 boys, and
Wow.
they're just, very rambunctious little guys.
Yeah, I know. I have 2 boys, a girl, and now I have twins on the way.
Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Yeah, a boy and a girl.
And prayers for your wife who will be doing a lot of work with 2 babies at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah, we're gonna get a night nurse to help her, and it,
right?
it's gonna be okay. We're so blessed, and we're so happy. Everything will be okay.
Yes, it is fun having a growing family. And let's see. Do your kids like to come to work with you too, as much as mine love coming to my with my husband for work?
I have not been able to take my kids to work yet, honestly. Just haven't been able. That's because, like I said, I haven't been in a night for about 5 years myself. I don't do that anymore. And believe me, I did it so many times and for so long. I worked so hard, and that's what I was saying. You don't give up and you work hard, and then you're honest and you're able to build something real.
Right? And you have to do that hard work when you're young too. It's easier, isn't it?
But thank God now I'm actually dealing with a really bad hand problem, and I've been working out my whole life. I haven't been able to work out for 6 months because of this pain. And I don't know if it's tennis. I don't know what it is, but I can't pick up my kids. I can't do all the stuff that I want to.
I'm laughing because my husband says the same thing, and I'm like, I think we're just getting older and things take longer to get better. And let's see, I have a kudos to you for doing podcasts and getting your business out there because a lot of people in your industry do not do that at all. And they kind of shy away from talking to other people and reaching out. So, what made you think to get on podcast and start speaking with people more? Just curious.
I mean, honestly, I really wanted to, educate as much as I can. Like, I've done a bunch of other guys, and I always literally say like just about the same thing because this is like what I know, right? So like, telling people not to use poison, people don't know. They go to the store, and because the store sells it, they think it's okay and it's not going to create problem. And so, I've really been able to really educate a lot of people about a lot of things. I've been getting a bunch of thank yous from people. It's been great. Yeah. So that's really, really my thing, educating. And look, a lot of people really overlook this, but, rats are really problematic. Okay. Like you have other pests, termites and things like that cause damage, but rats are really problematic. They cause about $20 billion a year in damages, from chewing and stuff, especially wires, electricity wires,
Mm-hmm.
fires, and they're a really big nuisance. And they cause damages. They leave droppings and stuff that cause health issues. So they're really a problem. And so it's been getting so bad. And knowing that LA now is number one in rodent issue, and it's just like it's just gotten so bad that I want to be able to just like give people some tips, maybe get
Mm-hmm.
around and minimize the problem a little bit, but I don't know if it's working because, if you call an exterminator and he comes to your house and he's a pro and he's telling you, okay, I checked everything. I'm going to set up some traps for you, blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay, you don't know that now this is going to happen. This is going to be going on for 7 months and you're still going to be dealing with a problem. You're going to smell dead rats. You're going to see flies. You're going to hear noises at night. No solution.
Right.
So I literally educate people. I'm like, listen, do not set traps. If you've been dealing with this problem for longer than a month, don't set traps. Like traps are good for the first couple of weeks, for that first one, not for the first one, the second one in their family. Like, like you gotta prevent stuff, and there's just a lot of traits behind it.
Yes, and I think that's like one thing a lot of people don't think about when you're buying a home is that there are a lot of things that you have to maintain, and if you like let one little thing slip for too long, it can blow up into a huge problem. Especially the big ones, like you're saying, rodents, air quality, since you worked in that. If you don't clean it, we live in Florida, so it's really, really humid all the time. You can have in 2 months, like everything is covered if you don't use your air conditioning enough, like with stuff that you can't like get out of your home. So it can be a really big problem. And I think maintenance is really important. And like, would you go to someone's home? They're just buying a home. Do you advertise with realtors and etc. to like come check out their house before they move in? All of those kind of things.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls from like people who are just doing the inspection now. They're about to buy a house, so we'll go and do inspections for those. And then we even do this thing where they pay us out of escrow if they decide to buy. Like we do all these things to help homeowners. Yeah, definitely a lot of inspections afterwards, and a lot of inspections that are people who unfortunately didn't do the right inspection before or had a real estate agent referred the home inspector, and they're like, okay, everything's good, let's just close it up. Everyone just wants to close it up, and then his family moved in, and then a few months later they have a rodent issue that was there. They just now realized it. And this happens a lot. This happens a lot, man. And we can see that there's been old traps, old droppings. Like we could say, hey, this has been going on for 7 years, way before you even bought this house.
Mhm.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Right. And so your services really for a homeowner are a good way to protect your investment because, like you said, rodents can actually chew electrical wires and cause fires
Of course.
in your home,
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy.
I don't mind mentioning a few of the very common damages that they make.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'd love to. So wires, obviously electricity wires in the attic or wherever. That's number one. Appliances. So they're looking for water. So they'll chew on these hoses from the washing machine or the fridge or the dishwasher. Then we have air ducts in the attic that they'll penetrate through. Those are more damages. And then, of course, the insulation that is supposed to keep your home efficient gets completely infested. And a lot of people don't see this because it's in the attic. And, a standard R30 insulation needs to be about, let's say, 10 inches. And after the urinate on it, it comes down to about 2 inches. And that's when actually people start hearing stuff like the footsteps because now it killed that noise barrier, right?
Right. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. So those are pretty common damages.
And let's see, do you have anyone in your life that has been a really great role model? And what is something that you have learned from them? They can be related to you or not.
I can't, I mean, I have to say my dad, we've been very close for years. And I have one brother, we're also close, but me and my dad, are in this business. And my brother is actually a realtor. So, me and my dad just have always been very close. And he taught me really well. He taught me manners. He taught me, how to be honest, how to be real. Like he taught me all that stuff. And so that's probably, I would say, my mentor, my idol. Like if I have a problem or I need to know something or when I ask my dad, I don't know who else to ask. Of
I like that. Instead of Chat GPT, he has dad,
course, I asked my
which
dad.
one is obviously better than the other, in my opinion, too.
Right.
I would ask your dad
No, I
over
asked
Chat GPT any day.
my dad. My dad asked ChatGPT.
Does he? That's so funny. And I actually just got rid of it because I'm like, I do not want to not use my brain. I think it's so important. I'm going to look it up the old fashioned way. And that's what I do.
You're right. You're right.
And yes. And let's see. Do you have any books that you have read in the past or currently that you would recommend to someone or is your favorite?
I think that Who Moved My Cheese is probably a good book. I recommend.
That is a good one.
It's rat or mouse related, but yeah, it's a great book to read when you're just a teenager. It gives you a nice direction. But I recommend for people to read as much as they can. Reading is really good, especially with all the phones now and all the technology. Like people lost that, you know. And so, yeah, I recommend to read as much as you can, whatever you like, whatever you don't like. It's really good for you, for your brain, and knowledge is power. So,
That it
what?
is. Are you like me with my kids? I told them if they read 50 books this month, which they're little, so the books don't take that long, that they could get Nerf guns. And I like charge them a quota of books for each thing. Do you do that to your kids?
No, no. Unfortunately, I don't. It's a good idea though.
Oh, yeah. They like rush to get all 50 books read before the end of the month so that they could,
Right.
get their Nerf guns. I got to give them their sales incentives while they're young.
You know, my son, my oldest, Dovey, he's 7. And he loves books. He has such a huge book collection, like Waiting is Not Easy, and like Zeus, and like The Cat in the Hat, and like all these books, and he's really advanced in reading. He loves it, and it's like you offer him a toy or a book, he'd rather take a book, and I love that.
Yeah. It's so nice when they like to read. And then some of mine are just like, a book? I guess I can sit here through one.
Right. Book, oh, book or a phone.
Oh, and I don't let my kids have that at all, the phone at all. Because I'm like, you're going to break it. I just know. And let's see, is there anything else that you want to tell us about your business or just like something inspirational that you would recommend to someone who's starting a business? And also, I would like you to just touch on why it's important for people in your type of service industries to get out there and talk to people on podcasts and things, because, a lot of construction guys totally overlook that because they're really busy, but they miss out on some great opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually, one of the advantages of, not being in the attics anymore is having the time to, prepare, get ready. It's work. It's tough to do. So that's like easier. I don't think that I would have any energy for this if I was after a 9, 10 hour shift. It's hard.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. But once in a while, you can make a little time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Well, thank you, David, for joining me today. It has been a pleasure. I have learned more about rodents than I ever thought I would know, and I appreciate you for it. And yes, thank you for being a guest on the Emily Rassam Show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes.